Hello and welcome back to Angie B Crafts. Thank you very much for coming and joining me. So today I'm going to do some playing, just making this really simple, I suppose you'd call it a tag. It's a piece that I'm probably going to mount onto another piece of card to make into either a card or a picture. This has been die cut using dies from the Grunge set from Studiolight, and I'm going to use some Explosions powders from Pretty Gets Gritty. I'm not quite sure which ones yet. I've got a few of them floating around, and some new stamps and stencils from Pretty Gets Gritty as well. So let's see how we get on. So to start off with, I'm just going to use some water and I'm just spraying it onto the card. Now I'm making it pretty wet. So you can use explosion powders in one of two ways. You can either put them onto your paper, well, you can use them in several ways, but the two most simple ways: put them onto your paper, then spray them with water, or spray with water and then put them onto your paper. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to put a bit of Juno in. So I put quite a lot down there, and you can see it's already starting to split out. You're starting to see some greens and blues coming out there. And then I'm going to put this one as Olympia. So I always think I've put enough water down with these, and then I put them on and go, oh, I need a lot more water. So I'm just going to gently spray the water. I'm not doing it as a really big push. It's a very gentle spray. So you can see we're starting now to get all these fabulous bits of movement, and I'm purposely not going to start messing about with those. I'm not going to start moving the paper. I'm just going to let them start to eke out. So here we've got yellows, greens and blues coming out of the Olympia, and then we've got reds and blues and purples coming out of the Juno, which are just absolutely beautiful. And the longer you leave it, the more movement you're going to get. I'll just show you by very slightly moving this. We can get more movement, but I don't want to do that. I just want it to do its thing. Okay, so I'm just going to let that sit. I'm going to give it a heat just to set it, but I'm going to do it from a distance. Instead of doing it here, I'm actually going to do it from up top. So I'll come back to you when this is dried off. So here's the dried off piece. It took quite a lot of drying, and you can see there's some areas that have just got patches that haven't got as much colour, and that's just where the water pooled, so the layers of colour weren't as obvious. But I really quite like that movement. We've still got all these lovely lines here and lines coming round here. I love how they look. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some stamping on top of it. So this one is called Fierce and Free, and I love this corner piece here. So I'm going to stamp it using the good old faithful Versafine Clair. So we're going to stamp this, plenty of ink on, and it's going to go in the corner. So these are brilliant stamps because they're designed as a way of kind of wrapping around your page. Well, that's how I'm viewing them anyway. I'm thinking if we do it this way, and I'm then going to have the overall thing coming down the ways. That's my plan now. So these will hang down like a top piece, which is just what we want. We want it coming down. I'm going to plop it at this end. There we go. Give it time to transfer and lift off. So you can see the second print's actually much better than the first one, because I was a bit fast with that first one. But you also get a smaller version, so I'm going to use that to fill in the gap. So I've got a bit of a gap here, so I'm going to use the smaller one to just fill that in. I love these stamps. I think I've said before on another video, I'm not really a flowery girl, but these stamps are just beautiful. I love the different types of flowers that you're seeing on them as well. Right, so we have that. Now we have this lovely little dangly piece. This is fast becoming one of my favourites actually. I'm stamping a lot with this one. I think it's a really versatile little stamp, just for filling in those gaps when you're not sure what you want on a piece. This is perfect. So I'm just going to finish off those edges, so it's almost like providing a frame. There we go. So we're now getting that lovely sort of overhang look, and what I'm thinking then is in the middle, this is where I'm going to put my sentiment, but I want to just add some colour in, and to add that colour I'm going to continue to use the explosion powders, and I'm going to use the same. I'm not going to add any more of the red because we've got quite a lot of the red. I'm going to use the Olympia, but I'm also going to introduce Dragon, because Dragon has got, if you look at these, the colour that you see is actually the colour of the mica, not the colour of the powder. So I'm just going to pop a little bit out on my mat, because the other thing with these is you can use them as paints, which is something I really like doing with them, and you can just make up as much as you need. I'll grab my little brush. It's just picked it up out of the water, so it's a little bit damp, and it's straight away just eaten that beautiful mica and colour that I've put down. So I'm going to use it then as a paint. So you can see I'm going to have to put more out. I'm not put anywhere near enough out. Let's see. There we go. Pop it back in the water. Just get a little bit. And then I'm going to colour these. So I'm just making them sparkle. So we're going to get the mica. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of water to this. Just literally a couple of blobs. Just so I don't have to keep dipping my brush. There we are. Almost looks a bit like mercury the way it's moving, doesn't it? There we go. So I'm just using it to add colour and a bit of shimmer onto these little dangly. They're almost, they look like grapes. I'm useless at naming plants, and they remind me of a plant that I'm sure used to be in my garden when I was growing up as a child. It's just fabulous, but I can't remember. I really am useless at naming plants. I'm sure there will be those of you out there who are horticulturally able, whereas I'm not. I haven't got a clue. So you can see I'm getting these lovely dangles, but what I'm just noticing is as I'm adding a little bit at the bottom, we can maybe get a drip. Just going to tap it and see if I can get some of these to drip, and that's going to give us an additional little bit of texture in the background. Oh yes, some of those are beginning to go. Let's add some more over here. So although in my mind's eye this was a bit of a garden scene, I'm now seeing it much more as a bit of a background. It's weird how what you're choosing to do can change just because of how something suddenly looks to you. I quite often change my mind when I'm creating. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I'll quite often go, actually that's not what I want it to look like anymore. Even those times when I've got a really clear picture of what I want it to look like, that looks much better to me. I like the chaos of that. I think that looks much nicer. So I'm wanting to colour in these leaves, so we've got more colour up at the top. So we're going to use the Olympia to do that. So again, I'm just going to pop a couple of drops of water. tell you, Lynette has done wonders with these stamps. I'm really smitten with them. Right, I want a different colour coming down here, and I know that Atlas has more of a greeny blue to it, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to stick to just using the explosion powders, because I really like how they paint. I like the fact that you get that bit of shimmer. Look at that. Can you see that? That looked like it was just gold. I'll do another one next to it. Watch it change. Whoa! It's just so cool. Sorry, that was really... I'm just a big kid when it comes to these. I love them. I just think that's amazing. You're sure it's going to be gold, and then you add water, and it becomes this beautiful, beautiful green. I think that's the best demonstration of it. How fabulous is that? I mean, I could just sit and play with that and just watch it. It's just, oh, I love it. Love, love, love it. There we go. We'll have some blue going on here. Again, I'm making sure that I mix, because this has still got mica in it. So I'm wanting to mix so that I still pick up some of that mica. So it's gold mica in most of the ones that I've got. There are others, I haven't got the full set. I've got 6 of them, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, yeah, 6 of them. So most of them, 4 of the 6 I have got gold mica. 1 has got beautiful red mica, that's the Juno, and then the Dragon has got silver mica. Silvery white. It's not a pure silver, it's almost like a pearlescent rather than a silver. I'm quite liking this one. 1, 2, 3 little blobs there. So you can still see what's been stamped underneath, but it's got an amazing shimmer, and it's just coming down. Right, so I'm going to very criminally wipe this up. That is so painful to do, but we're not using that again just at the moment. What we are going to do is figure out what sentiment we're going to use, and I'm going to stick with just using the one stamp set. So the sentiment we will use will be this one, which is "Be like a wildflower, beautiful, fierce and free." What a beautiful sentiment that is. Right, so we need a little bit of card. Here we have some card, and I'm just going to use black Versafine. I've just had a thought. So I'm going to stamp this anyway, but then see whether my thought will work. That's really bad stamping, actually. That was terrible. Right, I'm going to put another stamp on it. I think I was just a bit wobbly. So if you're finding that you've just overpressed and you've made a bit of a mess, what you can do is just put another stamp on to balance. It's particularly difficult with skinny stamps, but now because I've got the other stamp on, I'm not rocking the block. So look, I get a beautiful clear picture. Much better. Much, much better. So we'll cut that out. I'm just going to do really simple chopping it, and then decide what we're going to do with it. So what I was thinking was I might actually colour it up, but I'm still thinking along those lines, so my sentiment's actually going to be slightly bigger than I would normally have it. But true to form, it's not going to be remotely square. But what I'm going to do is stamp some of the other stamps. So this little one that I've just been using, I think will be quite nice coming up at the sides. So I'm going to put its friend next to it, just as a support. Put it slightly further over. I'm just going to use that little one just to add some interest at the side of here. One there. The same on the other side, like so. I'm liking that now. And then what I think I'm going to do is take the gold, so this one, which was the Olympia, and I'm going to use it as paint again, but I'm just going to use it around the edges. Again, that's quite a lot of powder, but I'm just going to use a little bit of it around the edges. So I'm going to get a slightly bigger brush. I'm going to go to my favourite brush. I wish I knew where I got this one from, because I do absolutely love it. So I'm going to use this around the edges, and I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm hoping it's just going to give us some pretty yellow bits around the edge. So again, you're not going to get a straight line with me doing this, it's just not going to happen. There we go. I like that. But I think I'm also going to do the same around this to tie it all in together. So I'm just going to put this on around the edge. Like I say, I'm not doing anything like I thought I was going to be doing on this. But that doesn't matter, because it's one of the joys of creating. You do what makes you happy, and to me that's what it's all about. One of the reasons that I got into creating and crafting was I was actually unwell. I had quite severe depression at the time, and a friend of mine many moons ago now, over 20 years ago, took me to a craft shop and introduced me to various crafty goodies. And up until that point I'd never been a crafter. I didn't grow up crafting. My mum was never a crafter, so I didn't have this role model of someone to craft with, and crafting being this wonderful thing. I'd never thought of doing it. I was just thought, I'm naff at it. And I fell in love, and I've not stopped since. Right, I'm just going to give this a blast, dry off the edges is my sentiment, and then pull it all together. So these are now dry, but I do want a black edge around this, because I just think it lifts it. Now this ink is getting very, very low. I'm going to have to re-ink it again. It's on my to-do list. There we go. And then I'm going to get a little bit of glue. I'm going to stick it on. So I've just picked up the nearest glue to me, which was my Cosmic Shimmer. Okay, now what I've also got here, this is another die, a die cut from the same set, from the same grunge set, but that is a perfect background for that. So I'm just going to stick it on. And there we have it, the finished piece. I'm actually really pleased with how that's come out, and it's not taken anywhere near as long as I thought it would have. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like and to subscribe, and take a look at me on other social media. I'm Angie B Crafts on Facebook and Angie Mary B on Instagram. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you again. Bye for now.